Boom, and we're back to this, another episode of Happy No Fear. I'm your host, Chase. And as always, we're recording from my studio in Los Angeles. Today we have a very special guest. He's a friend from my hometown of Antwerp, Belgium. He's in town doing a bunch of stuff, and I'm very happy that he's here. He's a style writer, does typography, letters, wild styles, blockbusters, characters, you name it. He's on top of it. So without further ado, I give to you Mr. Rise One. And we're live in the studio with a young Rise One hailing from Antwerp. Welcome, young sir.
Thank you.
You're in LA, man. You made it.
Yeah, man. Finally, second time.
Second time, yeah. When was the last time you were here? It was like 6 months ago or something?
No, about a year ago.
Or a year ago, yeah. Time flies. Yeah. Dope, man. And now you're in town. You had a pop-up show at UCUX on Fairfax.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
We'll get this out while the show is still up, so people can check it all out too in order to support. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I got a couple of prints up there, 2 canvases, and we did a collaboration with T-shirts and hoodies. So that's cool.
That's super cool. Yeah, they came out really nice, man.
Yeah,
for
I'm
sure.
very happy about that. Yeah, it's really cool to have the opportunity to do a show in LA, you know.
Yeah.
Far away from home.
Far away from home.
Away from how things go in Antwerp or Europe, you know, in general.
Yeah.
I think Americans see things a lot bigger than Europeans.
Yeah.
In general. So that's cool. I like to think big. Even though as a small towner, we see it's cool to see things bigger than they really are.
How do you experience that? Like when you say like they see things bigger in America? Because I've been here a long time and I'm from where you're from, so I know what you're saying. But it's interesting to see like your take on it now.
Yeah, well, like I don't know, like the numbers they want to sell or like the input they give, you know, it's cool. It's cool that they invest themselves in an exhibition, you know, in Antwerp, or it's the investment is all for the artists. The galleries will promote it, sell it, but they won't invest in hoodies or T-shirts or things like that. So
the artist has to like provide everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and we really don't have like a street art gallery in Antwerp, you know, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. I guess
there's only one. It's Steve Locatelli. It's my homie, but
he only shows his own work.
He only shows his own work.
Hey,
so,
shouts to Stevie. Shouts to Mr. Locatelli.
Sorry, Steve.
And then I guess there's the Montana shop in Brussels.
Yeah.
And Alice also in Brussels.
Yeah.
They do good stuff. They've been down
Brussels
for a long
have
time,
a couple. Brussels have a couple, but still, it's not booming like it's booming over here. You know, there's more. I don't know. It's like it kind of like the art world looks down on street art. You know, it's like almost as if they see it like it's a hobby thing. Well, it's not a hobby thing. You know, it's our fucking life. You know, we live for that stuff. But at least the walls are getting up and it's growing. You know, like the city is learning that it has a value. You know, it attracts people from other countries. They do street art tours. It's good for tourism.
Right.
And they start to support more and more events. So that's good, and that creates opportunities for the writers to organize their events bigger, get better walls, get better payments for walls. So that's like a good evolution.
Yeah. I like for. I know, like Belgium, it's like very classical. You know, when it comes to fine art, it has a big history, especially Antwerp. You know, a lot of the Renaissance painters came to Antwerp to study, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's crazy when you think about that.
Yeah.
And so there's that tradition. But what I still like fantasize about is a gallery that, you know, because working small, you know, especially when you work in the street, is always difficult. You got to change your stuff up. So what I think this happened like in the 70s and in the 80s in New York, where, you know, those writers, they were given huge canvases, or at least they painted huge canvases and had big gallery spaces to show those big works in. And
I think that's the way maybe it should happen in, like, let's say a place like Antwerp or something.
Yeah.
You know, so that museums can get interested. Because when you work too small, 2 meters by 2 meters or whatever the fuck it is, it's always going to be too small, man. You can't express yourself that way.
No. Still, the streets are the best way for a writer to express himself. You know, when I want to make a canvas, I have to rethink the whole way to approach it, and that's the whole process you have to go through if you really want to get up in this art scene. You know, it's like a very different scene than the street.
Right.
And I always love the street. You know, on the street you meet a lot of people, a lot of weirdos. You know, a lot of situations. You know, there's always a story behind every wall, and I love that, man. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
That's what makes, you know, like painting on the street worth that much. You know.
Yeah, it all ends up in the work somehow. You know, because you're dealing with one guy, then there's homies coming by, then there's a little bit of trouble maybe, or this or that. And, you know, that's why I always thought like working big is the way to go. Unless if you're like this branded kind of person, you know what I mean? And then you can stencil shit down or like whatever. But the looseness of like some of these walls, you know, be really... I mean, we have so many nice museums also. You know?
Man.
They
Antwerp
should be collecting all this shit.
Museums.
They're already late to the game.
Yeah.
In a way, you know?
Yeah, in a way. But still, it's like, you know, the city is so much older than like LA, let's say. And the culture is it dates back more than 1,000 years, you know. So they have so much history, and in a way, it feels like they want to clinch onto this history, you know, and they don't want to let go.
Right.
And it's important to preserve it, because I think you need to know what happened before in order to see where things are going. But still, in a way, it's a very narrow-minded view on new things, you know? Like you're getting blocked by old farts that don't know shit. It sucks, man. It really sucks.
Because usually old farts that you know are in charge of all these institutions and the city and all that sort of stuff. But it's getting better, you know. I've seen over the years now, like
things are changing.
You know,
finally, you know, they're changing for the better. We're working hard towards it, you know.
Yeah. And then your big project every year is Meeting of Styles. You know, I was fortunate enough to see a couple of editions.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like probably one of the best Meeting of Styles in the world, I think, because it's all concentrated down. What is it, like 2 kilometers worth of?
Yeah, we have a giant spot. We have all types of walls, big walls, walls for pieces, walls for street artists. We can all mix it up, and we have in the center of this all an old factory that's like turned into a summer bar. So we have a club to do parties. We can do dance battles, skate contest.
It's bananas. The Zomerfabriek.
Yeah. We can really make this big. We did this year. We did it in a festival style. You know, we had 3 stages, all music playing. We had over 10,000 visitors for
crazy.
A small city.
That's
and like non-writers, you know, just visitors. You know, that's nuts.
All kinds, young, old, everybody, curious people.
Young people, old people. A lot of old people are starting to do like street art spotting. So they love these things. They take out the cameras with giant lenses and all this all this crazy stuff. They send me tons of pictures. No, it's cool. It's finally growing into like a real festival, you know, and the city acknowledges that, and they see the importance of it, because we attract tourism. People come from other countries to see Meeting of Styles in Belgium. You know, it's the 7th edition, and we keep pushing every year to make it grow. And to make it, you know, make like a real show, you know. And this year even there was a guy from Los Angeles. He flew over just to check the Meeting of Styles.
Who is it? Just a random guy?
No, Ryu. I met him. Well, I didn't meet. He saw my walls I painted here last year. Started talking to me. He said, "Yeah, what's up on the other side?" I said, "Man, we're gonna do a giant show." And he's like, "Oh, okay." He just flew over to check it.
I like
this
that guy.
This guy's nuts.
that guy's got the right idea.
Yeah, for sure, man. You know? And it was impressed. He was like, "Fuck, man, this is a crazy show."
No, it's dope, man. And I also like, you know, a really smart thing is that you start with all the walls being painted black, right? So there's a unifying factor there, right?
Yeah.
Because it gets a little crazy sometimes when everyone's got a million different, but with that unifying black, tying it all together, I think that's a really smart move. You did that early on, right?
Yeah, we do this like a week before the event. But this year I changed it up because we have a long wall which we always use for productions, and it has like frames in it, and I just put a ton of street art guys on it and gave each one a frame to have like this gallery vibe going on one wall. And that's dope, man. That really worked, and then you have like a separation, like the long walls, it's like pieces, graffiti styles, all different mix of styles, but it was better like curated,
Yeah.
And I had tons of writers come up to me like, damn, man, this is like walking through my Instagram feed, this is like, we had top lineup, like top of European writers, it was really good. I was so happy about it.
Yeah, it's super, super dope. It's super, super dope. And so you picked that up like 7 years ago? Because it wasn't happening for a while, right?
No, I think the last one was 2007.
Yeah.
It was gone for years. Like there was some kind of stupid beef with the main organizers in Germany, because I was helping out back then for the meeting. Like I was running around putting posters up everywhere and like buffing walls, doing like simple things. I was a teenager. Fuck it, things I could do. But in the years, afterwards they started their own more local project, like a jam. And
in Antwerp?
Yeah. But I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
I missed like the big international vibe, like the top writers, they weren't there anymore, we were missing out. But by helping them out doing this, I learned a lot about how to organize an event. So after this, it was like, okay, you guys quit? Cool. And they were like, oh, will you continue our event? No. We're gonna bring back the
where were they?
styles,
where were they having it at? Like in that time?
Yeah, they did like Muntplan,
which is what Zenith started. Shouts to Zenith.
They did the same spot once, and then they started tearing down the biggest Hall of Fame Antwerp ever had.
And which was what? That was Muntplan.
Muntplan. Yeah? It was a legendary spot, man. It was the spot where I first saw the Meaning of Styles, man. I was
because Zenith brought it over there.
Yeah.
Like he had Ms. Van, I think Lumid, everyone over there. And right when I left, like 1996 or 7, I think he did it over there. Crazy.
No. The first one was 2002.
Oh, was it 2002?
Yeah, I was 16, man. I skipped school just to see the jam.
No
man.
shit.
This was fucking crazy.
Yeah, for people that are listening, it's sort of like it's in the middle of the city, but there's this open field and it's all the backs of buildings, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a perfect jam place because all the backs of buildings no one really cared about.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, this is the spot.
Yeah, it's the place where people walk their dogs and don't pick up their shit.
It's like a dog park kind of thing.
It's not even a dog park where people are like, fuck this square.
Yeah.
But it was our square.
Yeah.
And we went there every week. We took the barbecue, the music, paint the walls. Even when we weren't painting, we just went to the square and there were always writers hanging out, drinking a beer, smoking a joint, just chilling out.
Yeah.
The whole scene because of this square, everybody was there.
Wow.
That's how I learned. I know all the old school guys now, That's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, old school, like 90s old school for me,
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I know, like, Zenith talked to me a lot about all the effort he put into it. And latexing everything by himself, and then making sure everyone had a place to stay, drinks, like organization, like those days, and man, big effort.
Yeah.
So and then someone else took it over, which I don't even know who that is because I've been away.
Arno. He was organizing together with Arno.
Right.
But yeah.
And then boom, you picked it up, and bam, here we are.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
And we did it bigger and better.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. No, it's very impressive, man. And now you're here too. There's a Meeting of Styles in LA coming up on the 26th and 27th.
No. It's 28, 29. It's next weekend.
Okay, so we'll get this out before then, if all goes well. So,
for sure.
Anything you want to say about that?
Yeah. The Meeting of Styles is gonna be dope. I met Eastpie, who's organizing it last year. And he was talking about, man, I want to do a big jam. I don't know. And I said, man, I hook you up with the meeting if you want to. He said, yeah, man, that would be fucking dope. I just connected 2 dots and the guy, he took off, and he's doing it. It's the first time since 2007 there's going to be a meeting of styles in Los Angeles. So that's cool, man. It's a big city, man. I expect to see like crazy writers and meet a lot of people that I've never even heard of, or like style. That's the cool thing about the jam, you know. You meet so many people that is crazy, man. You make, because when you're organizing, you only see the work, but when you're participating and are in the jam, you make so many friends, you know, so many connections, and this is what an organizer who's running around doesn't see. You know. So when I go to other meeting of styles, like, and I get to experience it as a participant, that's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, you make new friendships, crack a beer, boom, man. Talk about old stories. Yeah, that's super dope, man.
So that's what it's about for me, you know. It's about community, you know. It's about connecting to people, you know. And in a way, it's always like graffiti always is. It's like a battle, you know. It's like a contest, you know. You got to be the best one out there, you know. So I'm pushing to do that. So they better bring their A game, you know, because I will.
No, it's interesting, yeah. Because one thing I was thinking about earlier is that everyone that's like not from the U.S., right? If they're painting with spray paint, they call it their graffitis, right? The Spaniards, the Italians, and of course, I'm not talking about people that bomb and do all that sort of stuff. And I know your background is in bombing also, but like there's a lot of people that, you know, never bombed, or they just don't do anything like that, and they call their street art my graffiti, right? And I always feel like that's a little weird because graffiti is by definition illegal, right? So. And it comes, you know, the root word graphine, which is Greek to write, right? That's fine, but it's not because you use spray paint that it's graffiti, right? But it's always interesting to me, like even in Germany, everywhere, people call a wall painting a graffiti.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Isn't that weird? Did you ever think about that?
Yeah, I think like street art has become like
it's a weird thing. The street art,
an overall name, you know. They like to. People like to put a stamp on things, you know, put it in a box and see like, okay, so this is all these combined is street art now. Right. But writers are no street artists, you know, and
that's what I'm saying.
Even when I'm doing a legal wall, I'm still in my heart, I'll always be like a style writer, you know, because that's the most important thing. When you go illegal, you want to put up the best style possible on the most crazy spot you can find. That was the game. It still is the game, but the game has changed, you know. And also the influence of the internet is the biggest game changer, you know. Like social media, it's so crazy. You can see influences from all over the world. You know, when I started, all I saw was the tags on my house, and I lived in between the two main stations, so I seen a lot of trains passing by, and this was what I was looking at. You know, I had to really go out and find graffiti. Right. You know, like we said before, when we had the first computer, I was like 15 years old. I wasn't searching for graffiti, man. They had titties all over that place. No graffiti on my computer.
There wasn't anything. There was like, I think, what is it? Art Crimes maybe was one of the first ones. And then in Europe we had Ecosystem. That guy was pretty good, but it was all kinds of walls. And then what was the other one? Like, was it 40 ounce, 50 ounce profit? I forget which one it was again. I have no idea. And then a couple of these online things here and there. But yeah, it was just a time. It was flicks. You would send flicks if you had them. And just like actually like properly underground shit, you know? Yeah. And now, like, you can see anything, which is probably a good thing, but at the same time, it's maybe also a weird thing, you know? Yeah. And it's interesting that, you know, writers, like proper writers, they never really liked the street art thing. Mm-hmm. Because you can't just, like, get up on big walls without, like, earning some stripes first, right? Sure. You gotta like come up and like learn your craft under a bridge or on a train or something like that, and then you earn, you know, a better spot or whatever, or you earn some style or whatever, and you have to rack your paint, and boom, you come up, you do some dirt, whatever, and you got to go through some sketchy shit in order to deserve to put your style down somewhere in the middle of the fucking city, paid in the middle of the day, right? And so I get that. I really do get that. And there's still that big division in a way, I feel. And it because I see a lot of street art stuff now that's like, man, that's a waste of a fucking wall.
Yeah, man, it's
sad.
You see a lot of kids coming up or do like
they don't even respect the wall.
Even adults who just started painting, and
it's weird.
They do 2 or 3 little walls and boom, they get a giant fucking wall.
Yeah,
I'm like, really, what did you do to deserve this? And even sometimes these people, even in Antwerp, they send me emails or whatever, like, hey man, how do you do the building, or how are you doing? Like, man, fuck off, you know.
Well, if you don't know, then you don't know.
Look it up yourself, you know. Yeah. I'm not helping this guy out. What have you done to create this? He's riding our waves that we created.
Yeah.
Because man, when I started graffiti, there was no opportunities to knock on a door and ask somebody like, oh, can I paint your wall? That doesn't exist.
Yeah. No,
nobody's gonna give me a wall.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah. We
had to really prove ourselves, you know, and
one step at a time. And then, you know, some of us were better salesmen than the next guy, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, and then you can get in through some means, but for the most part, like it's, you know, that's what. Yeah, and then sometimes I see these walls, and not to be a hater, but it's not even a hater. It's an observer. You see, like, you know, a giant, like, 7-story building, and it's a chick holding a coffee. And it's like an illustrative, like, art school style, right? And it's like a chick holding a coffee with a dog on her back. Okay, great, fantastic. But to me, it's that always still hurts, but it's hurting now less than it used to hurt for me 10 years ago.
True.
Because 10 years ago, there was a big wave, right?
But still, like they put a giant image up, like you say, like a chick holding a coffee with a dog.
Yeah.
And in a way, this image says nothing.
Yeah.
It has no power to
no
it.
Flavor.
And that's, you know, that's the difference between a writer getting into street art, because that's what's happened a lot as well now. Because writers start to do big walls, they start to change up their style, but they have, you know, they it's like tattooing, you know, they can punch in the colors, you know, they know how to use those combinations, and they make something fresh out of it, you know. A perfect example, look at fucking Philippe Panton. Look at this guy, man. Man, he's incredible. It's incredible. The way he uses color it's unseen. It's insane. And I love to see, because he's a hardcore train rider, you know. This guy was bombing like nuts, you know. It's really cool to see how he
transition out of that,
came from.
But with all that knowledge, now applying it somewhere else. That's nice to see.
From the real streets to real art, you know. And that's he stepped up his game enormously. He's one of my favorites to follow, you know. I think he's so innovative in a way. Or innovative, I don't know.
What is the British way? What's the American way?
I have no idea, man.
Innovative.
Yeah, something like that.
He's definitely killing it.
Yeah.
You know, and he came up hard, and he came up beautifully. Yeah, I love to see that. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of what I'm worried now about a little bit is because I just checked out a festival that happened not that long ago in America, right? And I checked it out, and there's like 1 or 2 very, you know, trusted, you know, artists there, and then the rest was sort of like, okay. They're not ready to, you know, it's not because you can apply paint to a wall and you're using tricks, and everyone knows about the projector now, so you just got to fill in. But you reveal yourself in your line work, and you reveal yourself in your choices and your signature and everything in composition. It was too soon, right? And so I'm seeing a lot of that now, where it's just, I hope things are not going to get so overly saturated. And in the end, we got to blame the curators, you know, of certain things. And like festivals or like these events or whatever. And this is also a painful, I think, side of things. Like, and I said it back in the 90s. I'm like, man, people are listening to this shit. People are listening to this shit. You know, people are buying this shit. You know, I've been saying that shit my whole life. You know, and So now, like the new thing, like you said, tourism, gentrification, all this sort of stuff. You know, it used to be put a couple of birds on the wall. That's fine.
Yeah, man.
Now it's this, now it's that. But like, man, I see now a lot in a lot of different countries and a lot of different cities. Just like, man, if that was on my house, I'd paint right over it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And so I think something that needs to happen, right? It's not because I'm a person, let's say, in a given city, right? And I organize what I call a street art festival, right? That's going to guarantee, you know, interesting work in that city. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. True.
You know what I'm talking about? And I think a lot of like corners of every country right now are being like, I don't know. It's like they're not. I just hate to see like people that I know that are a little bit more shy, right? That are proper artists that are not getting tapped on the shoulder to say, "Hey, I know about you. I've been knowing about you for a long time. I want to give you this opportunity." Yeah. Instead, we see a lot of crap out there.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to talk about that.
Yeah, true. If
you know what I'm saying?
If a good artist doesn't make noise, he's not gonna get up. Because that's how, you know, you need to find the right connections these days, you know, and
but who's the right connection sometimes? It's just some loud dweeb that's saying, I'm the curator of this thing.
True.
You know, in some state or some country, and it's like, oh, I didn't meet you somewhere. And by the way, who the hell are you? You're some guy that organizes all this stuff and it's schmoozing with the city. And now all of a sudden that city has like, you know, 30 walls in it and they all kind of really suck and no one knows about it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
True.
I don't want to be like too negative, but it's really true. We got to watch out for this shit, right?
We got one of those guys in Antwerp as well now.
Yeah.
He's Chris, you know, he's a politician and he got appointed to be schepen van cultuur. Hoe zie je dat? Like a political function for street art. It's the first in Europe. It's
he's like the minister of street art, but on a
smaller
local
level. Yeah.
I met the
local
guy.
level. Yeah. And they when
Does
he was
bad
about
taste? He has bad taste.
Well,
or he doesn't know the difference between good and bad.
Somebody paints a nice doggy, it's a good wow for him, you know, and that's the problem for me, you know. Somebody takes a picture and copies it. What's the difference between the picture and the copy, you know? Just the picture was good enough.
Right.
Leave it at that.
Yeah.
Or have some input at least.
Yeah.
But
change it up a little bit, yeah.
Anyway, when he was about to get his function, I got a call from the local newspaper. And they said to me like, yeah, did you know there's a politician, he's going to be the boss of street art of this district? I said, wow, yeah, no, I didn't know this. Tell me more. And it's like, yeah. But what you think?
And you knew this guy, was he in the art scene or something?
No, he's not even in the art scene. Nothing. He's a politician.
So how did he get chosen for this position?
I don't know, because he was interested in it and he pushed himself into this position. But like the whole scene reacted in a negative way, like, who is this guy? He doesn't know shit. What's he gonna do for us? You know, blah blah blah. And they post all this shit online because social media people just throw whatever on it. Like, that's what we need. Another opinion. Like, fuck. I try not to do that shit, man. I don't post opinions online. I don't give a fuck. I want to put my work on there. That's it. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, this is going to go online, so here we go.
Thank you.
This is 2 years worth of backed-up opinions.
2 years of build-up opinions. Yeah. Fuck my opinions.
Go bring out the Rambo knife.
Anyway.
This time it's serious.
I saw that, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'm going to contact this guy. And he doesn't know what's going on, but I do, so I can guide him.
Yeah.
So I called him. I said, man, we need to meet up.
You can at least be a consultant to the guy.
We need to meet up, because I figured, like, this guy is a politician. He's going to want to earn his stripes, and he's got a budget. That's most important. He's got a fucking budget. So, okay, go to him and say, man, we're doing meeting of styles. You need to support this shit. You know, this is the biggest, because the reason why he had this is because his district had the most street art. We call it graffiti, but it's street art in all of Antwerp. And they have like a map with all the walls on it. And half of that map are my fucking walls, plus meeting of styles. which is the biggest graffiti spot in all of Belgium.
Yeah, probably Western Europe, to be honest.
Possible,
right?
Possible. We have
What's
a
bigger?
giant spot. Yeah, in Germany there's the Meeting of Styles, not Wiesbaden, but the other one. They have a really giant spot, like 8,000 square meter. It's insane. It's insane. We have like 4,000 square meter, which is
still holding its own. Yeah.
It's pretty much a big ass spot. Anyway, so I meet up with this guy. We start to do a couple of projects, and he's listening, he's funding, while the rest is hating and like doing shit. I'm like, fuck, I can benefit from this, you know. Yeah. It's my time.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Fuck this, man. You know, like it's good to have somebody who has something to say in the city on your side.
Right. Yeah. Someone that has political power, that's been appointed, right, to help out what you're doing there anyway.
Man,
right?
he was the biggest sponsor of Meeting of Styles this year. This
so this is good news.
Yeah, man, it's one of the reasons why I could do a festival instead of a jam, you know, and attract so many people, make dope after movies and everything you need to promote towards the future, you know.
Yeah.
And also when you came to Antwerp in May,
right,
that wall, this guy, man, one phone call was fixed. The wall was fixed. Crazy location. I couldn't fix it any other way. Lift was there, paint was there, payment was there, everything was ready.
Yeah, that's right. And we owe that to you. Yeah, you put me in contact with his assistant or something. Yeah. And it wasn't any problem at all.
That's how it goes when you know the right contacts. Right. Your goal is one phone call away. Man, I just need to spot a wall and say, man, this is a beautiful wall. Yeah. Look at this wall. Looks like shit. Give me to me. I will make it beautiful. And maybe give me some money for a lift and some
no, of course.
And he does it. Man, it's insane.
This is good. Yeah. In LA, I wish I had someone like that. Here, it's like I've been doing the same thing for a long time, but it's like with the building owners, the managers, management companies, you know, and I tell them, look, this is a beautiful wall. It's you know, it's the same kind of thing, but it's a lot more work. So I hope this is going to work out. I think it's going to work out in the future with this appointed politician, right? Like now that they get a little taste of it, they're ahead of the curve. So hopefully there's a lot more stuff to come.
Especially that wall you guys did, man, with Matthias on it. They were score, man. For him, it was all over the news, newspapers. You know, like Matthias being the big movie star he is. Right. It's incredible to have for him. That was a giant win. You know. And he knows I gave him that win. You know.
So he owes you a couple of things.
I wasn't painting on that wall, which was. I was a little sad about for a moment because I figured like, let's paint with the guys. But anyway, afterwards, looking at the benefits in the future, that was a good thing.
Yeah, it's all going to work out. That was a great wall by the track. Yeah,
trackside highway, man. Yeah. A couple of 100,000 cars passing by every day. Yeah. That's a very visible spot, you know. And it's a beautiful spot to have.
And I told him like before, when Ellen sent me the location, I'm like, wait, you know, like the next bridge over, like I had a Chase like throw up there in like 94 or something. She's like, send it to me right away. And for a minute there I was like, I'm not gonna send it to you, but I just found the photo, so I'm like, fuck it, what are they gonna do, you know? So I sent it, and she's like, oh my god, this is the weirdest thing, because this is the same exact spot. And she didn't even know we were like those bridges, and this is where we went to go fucking tag and do tropes and little quick pieces, you know.
That's an easy spot to get to.
Yeah, super easy. You just go down and you're fucking there. That's where we did box trucks a lot.
Man, I had to run behind security just to chill at the spot with you, man.
Yeah. No, they were really, because when it's official, you know, they made us go all the way around. I'm like, look, let's just cross the tracks. How many times have I crossed these fucking tracks? They're like, oh no, because it's official. And nothing's gonna happen. We know how to look out for trains. You know what I mean? And they build bridges. And remember, they built like a staircase and stuff in front of the wall. And I show up there, and I'm like, look, how can I paint a wall when there's a staircase in front of the wall? And it was a little bit upsetting. But in the end, it was all cleared out and stuff, and we,
CD Logics.
Yeah, it's like, and you know the NMBS was involved, which is like the train,
train company,
which is all like very like absurd to me, to come back and do a nice wall like that with them involved.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
But yeah, so that's what I'm looking at now. Like I see a lot of saturation,
Yeah.
And I see like. I was just talking to a friend about it earlier. Like there was a time, like in the early 2000s, everyone was a DJ. Oh, come to my party tonight. Especially in the States. I'm like, oh, you DJ now? Oh yeah. Everyone's DJing. Then everyone was a photographer at one point. And then all of a sudden now everyone's an artist.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not hating. I'm just like Chris Rock would say, I don't condone it, but I understand or something. Yeah. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm just noticing that I think a lot of kids think, they say, they especially with Instagram being so visual, right? That for us, it works out perfectly.
Yeah,
right? We're visual people. We're visual, like whatever. We paint, we make stuff. We can photograph it easy every day. And I think a lot of people think like, well, this is an easy career or something, right? And it's also fun. And I think a lot of people think it's easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No, but these days it's
not easy.
Easier than it
it's
used
ever been.
To be bad. It is. That's where the hate comes from, the old guys, because
that's true.
We had to struggle, man. We really had to struggle, man. Fuck, I'm still struggling sometimes.
For sure.
I got bills to pay, man.
Yeah. No, like the real OGs, like, the second wave in the 80s and stuff, a lot of those guys are coming back, and they're like, we paved the way for this shit. I got to get mine. And I respect all that.
Yeah. But
I'm like, but where have you been since 89?
You got to get with the time, man.
That's
the problem with a lot of old writers. They're like, you got to respect my shit, but what the shit they're still doing is what they were doing in the 80s or 90s, and that's not up to date with almost 2020, man. Come on. Look, you gotta, like the first piece I painted this year, everybody's writing like 2019. I wrote 2020. Ahead of fucking time, man. I think to the fucking future. That's how you have to. You have to push.
I'm at
2029
personally in my sketchbooks.
Yeah, man. My mindset is like, the piece I paint is not the most important, but the next piece I'm gonna do, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and this is
and you always look forward and you always push the style and try to make it evolve. Try to make it look for something fresh, something new, and
it could be a colorway, it could be a little something. Yeah, but I always like wall dogs, right? Like people that love to paint walls, and all the other shit is gravy. But the shit you love, and that's like my favorite people in the world, it's just, let's rock some fucking walls. Let's rock a lot of them. And you're like all round too, like letters, logo types, characters, crazy fucking effects,
Photorealism.
What?
Photorealism.
Photorealism. I seen her shit back home. I'm like, he did this?
Yeah.
The video game shit on the Brug in Belgium.
Yeah.
There's some video game advertisement. I'm like, well, if this
Ubisoft.
is done in Antwerp, this is only, and sure enough, I come up closer, boom, Rise 1.
Yeah, I don't do it a lot because I don't like it so much, because usually photorealism, it's like, this is the image, this is what you're gonna paint, and I feel like I have a minimum input in this. I can change some colors, but if you change,
you can't infuse your style as easy.
Yeah, true. It's, well, some people are really good at it, but I'm apparently not. I can paint a portrait like it's people think it's a print,
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm not super proud of it. I can do a piece for free that doesn't make me 10K like the portrait, but that piece is my pride.
Exactly.
That's me. That's me.
But it's interesting, you got it in the backpack. Like, it's another skill set.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I like photorealism, like,
bills to
not
pay,
easy. Not easy,
Yeah, true.
And you're up there with the best of them. And, but I also don't like to see it that much unless if there's like a big influx of style in that photorealism. Yeah. Because a lot of kids have figured it out now.
Yeah, for sure.
With the extra white little, little touches everywhere to give that extra little highlight. All those little tricks.
Smug.
Yeah.
Fucking Smug, man.
He's a master. He's a master.
Man. I did a project in 2018 with Elmac, Smug, and Astro, and myself. And I learned from each of these guys. So I invite them, give them the wall, help them out with everything they need, and I watch and learn, man. It's good to see another writer's vision on things, you know. And Smug is a fucking genius, man. Yeah. He's fast as fuck. Also like the colorway he uses, it's incredible.
Almost
man.
like
he uses like gray pinks or like the colors you would never pick. You see it in the colorway.
You see it in the way he does teeth.
That's nasty.
You know, you would think teeth, light tones, no light tones, man. Zero light tones.
Incredible. Like he banged out a giant wall in 5 days, 5 fucking days. And I watched him doing this and watching how he builds things.
Smug one,
wow, man, I learned a lot by just watching this guy paint. And afterwards, you know, because he ordered way too much paint and I just racked all the paint for myself, I had to do a commission in the Olympic swimming pool, and I did a giant lady swimming underwater. I changed some colors to make it a little more interesting to my taste, but still thought it was boring as fuck to do. But I used his colors because I just had them all in my basement. Yeah. And man, this was the best photorealism I ever painted. Man, it's wow. Yeah. This was incredible.
Yeah, that's the start. And I see a lot of people using like the, you know, because everyone like loves like paint a picture of a girl looking to the left, right? Hopefully black and white, and then some evidence of street art. So give me some splatters, some smears, right? Yeah. And every city's got this black and white painter of girls, and I'm like, if I see another one, I'm gonna fucking shoot myself in the fucking head, you know. And a lot of stuff is well executed, but like just the insistence of that black and that full white, right? It's, to me, it's not mature. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, it isn't.
But it can be.
It can be.
But you know what I'm saying? When it's only that. I'm talking about very specific examples, right? Yeah. Which are in my mind, so you can't see them. But it's just like, man, it's, of course, you can figure it out, you know, and bam, you rock it. But yeah, Smug, the way he approaches that shit, man,
it's incredible.
It's nuts. His skulls also.
Yeah.
I ended up tripping on one of his skulls, and then I'm like, I gotta see this bigger, man. So I went from my phone to like the desktop computer, found like a high res of that shit, and I'm like, what? Yeah, you know, just like drooling insane, over like those choices, you know.
It's incredible.
I could never do that shit.
He can do pieces as well, you know. He can throw down a decent style, man.
It's like, didn't he post one recently where it's like just like a graffiti sort of Smug, but it's like the choices there were fucking advanced, even though it was like a simple.
He has a good eye on it. Yeah. And then the other one, I met Elmac there, and he took his time. Yeah. Oh man, this guy. Yeah. I really, really cherish like the conversations we had at the wall, man. He's a very clever guy. He's very focused, very down to earth. He's not, no ego, you know, and he's one of the greatest, man. It's incredible. I've been following him since he was a Meeting Styles in Antwerp in 2003. Yeah. It's the first time I saw him. He did a photorealistic thing and I was like blown away, like, whoa, what the fuck? You pulled this out of a spray can? You know, that was crazy, man. Yeah, he really had a good vision on things, and he, you know what? After talking to him, I completely changed the way I approach my business work. You know, I threw all the shit I didn't want to do anymore off my website and only posted big projects, things I like to do, very colorful, very graphic. And people start asking me for these things now. Yeah. You know, you know, just by talking to a guy, you can change your whole approach in how you see your work.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's great, on my website, I pretty much, not everything, but I have like, I would say like 70% of everything, even though I still gotta update it in the past, you know. But I just post everything on there. And then I know what you're talking about, because then people are like, well, can we do something like this? And I'm like, well, I don't really want to do something like this. And they're like, no, we really, the client really loves this. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I do another one of those kind of things. So yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah,
like
man.
when it comes to like posting or like especially
Yeah.
where you have your website,
Yeah,
just post
Just show what you want to do.
what you want to do
Show
more
you.
of. That's great
Yeah,
advice. Yeah.
Yeah, because I used to work for a lot of like liquor companies, beer companies. Belgium being a massive beer country, we have a lot of jobs for breweries and whatever, and usually they have really boring visuals. Like somebody drinking a beer or a bottle with some leaves or colors. Or it's fucking boring, man. And once you've painted that same bottle like 10 times, you're like, okay, man, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah.
And then I just threw. After talking to you, I threw all that shit off because these companies made me a ton of money.
That's what I'm saying. That's a big decision.
That's a big
to
decision.
throw that away.
So that was a risk to say like, no, I'm not doing that shit anymore. I even like broke with a couple of them. I said like, this is my style now. Take it or leave it.
And what they say?
And they were like, yeah, but can you just paint the bottle? I said, no, man, fuck your bottle.
And what they say? And after that, did you retain the client or you lost the client?
No, I lost the client, but man, at some point, I was so happy to let it go.
Right.
I was so happy to let it go. I was like, you know what? Thank you for all the work you've given me in the past. I really appreciate this, but I have to make steps towards the future that I want to see, and evolve into different kind of artist, because it's easy to get stuck into painting shit that people want.
Right.
You know what people want.
Right. Yeah.
And now clients comes to me and he says, yeah, I like this thing you make. And I go to him, you know what you need?
Yeah.
This is what you need.
Yeah.
And I will give it to you in the best way.
Yeah.
I'm your fucking guy. That's how. That's how you approach it. Yeah.
But sometimes you don't have the chance to have
true.
to have that conversation.
But
I know what you're saying.
I'm confident enough in the things I do. Like I don't doubt my abilities.
Right.
I've worked hard and I've accomplished a lot by doing so. And man, it's just a matter of directing your life, like directing your passion in the right direction, because if you let other people guide you too much, you lose yourself.
Right.
And when I do commission after commission, sometimes I'm booked for 3-4 months.
No room for personal work.
I don't have no time for myself, man. And when I come home, I'm tired, and my wife's there, my dog needs to get walked, and when I'm painting all the time, she get angry at me or some shit because like you're always painting. And say, you married a fucking painter. Think about that.
But that is true. Yeah, and then because there's something to be said for like you do a couple of gigs where but the dream is to do exactly what you want to do. Yeah. For said brands.
That's hard to accomplish, man.
It's very hard to accomplish. Very difficult.
Yeah.
Very difficult. Because you're always dealing either internally, there's an art director of the internal team, or you're dealing with a senior art director at the agency level.
Yeah.
Right? And they're all there earning a living. And if their opinion doesn't matter, right, then kind of like, why do you have a job? Everyone starts to notice. Mm-hmm. So they just attach themselves to an opinion, right? And then, you do the phone calls and everything, 6 people on the line. And then, you hear that guy has an opinion and it's like, shit. You look at your bank account, it's like, maybe he's more right than I want to, than I want to. And then you sort of like try to plant an idea that he will come up with, right, on the next phone call. And then you agree and it's your idea, but you make it their idea. Because everyone on that call is earning a living, right? It's not like they're not earning a living. Whatever input they have on the campaign or the project matters to them. So everyone's fighting for their own existence in a way. And all we're trying to say sometimes is like, yeah, that's all fine, and I'm glad we're talking, but this is a really cool other way to do it, right? And things can get complicated there sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Some people are down with it. Some people are, they don't understand where you're coming from, where you want to go with it. So
yeah.
And some people just don't care. They're just like, this is my image. This is what I need. Like, print it, motherfucker.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
You already have it, so why have me paint it again? You know, what's the point?
Yeah, I always think like I've had the the good fortune of working client direct, with the actual brand a number of times, without the agencies being there, and the best results I feel are always there, because you have a direct line of communication. And there's not like this team that is in charge of this account, and they all got to eat. They all got to build up expenses and fight for to be justified. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's really rare. But I understand why there's agencies and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's the safety net.
Yeah.
It's the safety net. It's other opinions. It's making sure that it's going to be successful.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes it's like, man, that's the exact opposite of what this thing needs. So that's interesting too. And a lot of guys also, which I also respect, they're like, fuck products, fuck marketing, fuck advertising. It's just me, the way I fucking do it.
Yeah.
And that's fucking that.
Yeah.
And that's very respectable also.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's if you can pull it off and make a living out of that, man, you're golden.
That's
you're
even
golden.
dreamier than any of the dreams.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But that's, to me, it's like, I'm not that guy, honestly.
Yeah, but you're dreamers. You're a dreamer now. You're American.
Yeah.
We don't dream in Europe, man. We pay our dues with sweat and blood, man. There is no European dream. You just need to work hard and try to think bigger than the next guy,
But it's not that dissimilar from the US,
It's true. It's true. But at first, when I heard about when you see the movies in the American Dream, I thought like, this is a lot of bullshit. American Dream. You dream. You're hoping to be a superstar or something, and we don't have that. We don't promote that type of thing. But the first time, then I came to the States, I was like, fuck, this shit is real.
You feel the energy, right?
Yeah, you can feel
There's
the
energy
direct. I was like,
that's what I'm
damn,
saying.
These guys weren't talking shit at all.
Oh no, we're not talking shit over here.
No, man.
Why do you think I'm still here 24 years later?
Yeah, man. It's
I can't do.
Because you're crazy, man.
No, but really, like, America has the can-do spirit, right? In Europe, like, man, I got a couple of things going on there, and it's like, well, let's meet about it again. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm in the US. This is a phone call.
Okay.
Well, it would be really nice if we could just meet about it next time you're in Europe. I'm like, why? We can get this done now. There's a lot of meetings, postponements, a lot of fear, a lot of this, a lot of that. America's like, look, there's budget, right? Let's get it done, and let's get it done quick, like in the Holland way,
man.
Jovial, energetic, no fear. That. Let's pop it off,
really
and then
like
let's
that.
adjust along the way. And I like that you're feeling that now on your second trip to LA.
It's like Americans have. I don't like to say this. They have bigger balls.
Bigger balls.
They like to
bigger
take,
balls. Hey, bigger
they like
balls.
to take more risks,
Right, bigger.
Like, you guys are fucking risk takers.
Bigger
man,
balls in smaller G strings.
Oh wow, shit!
Ay.
Drink to that.
No, but it is true, man. There's an energy here, and also to be really honest, like LA is not America. No. New York is not America. There's a lot of in between shit. It's not popping.
It's the only two cities I've seen. I went twice to New York and now second time to LA.
Right.
This is. I thought New York was incredible as well, man. It's
super energy.
It was hard to paint, though, man. Everybody's like,
they're selling walls over there now.
This is my wall. I don't know. Blah blah blah.
They want to sell you the
Get
wall
the fuck
to
out of
paint.
here. This and that. This type of the fuck.
Yeah. Oh, you want to paint in Manhattan?
Man,
Good luck.
Yeah, man.
Not gonna happen.
No, I was painting in Brooklyn and the Bronx, but man, that was hard to get shit done, man. Fuck.
It's not easy though.
Here, man. Last year, I just
Still easy.
knocked on a door on Venice Beach, like, hey, can I paint your wall? Yeah, maybe. What you want to paint? I show my thing. He's like, oh, cool. Do you need to pay for your paint? I said, no, man, I have my paint, but a coffee would be nice. He gave me a coffee and a beer afterwards. Like,
nice.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, and a wall to paint.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool.
That's
man.
LA.
I'll
That
paint,
is still
I'll paint
LA.
That shit, I just wanted to paint, and be in the sun and enjoy a good time. I had a very good time, man. It
Yeah.
was like the first time where I did a trip really far away from home, like other continents, on my own. And I was like, okay, I'll see what happens and just go.
Freestyle.
And yeah, that was beautiful, man. I really enjoyed that. And you can make all your choices, you know, see things, do things, walk into places. Like, you know, when you're with friends, he wants to do this, or your wife wants that, or like, oh, I don't like this alley, it looks shady. Like, fuck, I want to check this alley.
Yeah. And I want to sit in that alley for 30 minutes.
Then you see a couple of bumps, like, okay, back out of the alley.
No, that's like, LA's very special place, man. It's super fucking special because there's a lot of canvas everywhere. You know, there are endless blocks of buildings.
Yeah, man,
it's
incredible.
fucking perfect.
So many hot spots, you know, like spots with top visibility. You know, it's hard to get in my city. You know, in our city, Antwerp.
Antwerp doesn't exist.
You know, no,
there's a couple of spots.
Man, the hot spot we have is like minimal styles. What? No, man, we're at the Ring. You know, it's like the busiest road going through the city. We have a couple of 100,000 cars passing by daily. Yeah, and that's where we paint our walls. You know, everybody sees, everybody knows our project.
And plus, you got the hot spot in next to the cathedral, the Boerentoren.
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite right there. I've been looking at that spot since I was a fucking kid.
Me too, man.
And someone painted this fucking Tintin wall there a long time ago. I'm like, who's painting this Tintin wall? You know?
I have no fucking idea, man.
And then all of a sudden, bam, you come in there with a fucking blockbuster.
Yeah.
Ooh, big up.
That's what's
that
up.
was sick, man. That is like, and you did it fucking with class and respect.
The piece where I'm most proud of,
no
you know?
doubt.
And I got so much love from the city. It was incredible, man.
Yeah.
Put up the name of my city in the middle of the old city center. Nothing is painted in the old city center. Nobody did this shit before, man. And I was watching this wall years before this. You know, I remember walking past this wall, drunk as fuck, with my homies coming from the bar. It's
massive. And for people listening, it's like there's a parking garage there, right? And so it's like it starts at like story 2 or 3, and then it's untouchable. It cannot get capped. It cannot get touched, and it's wide as a motherfucker. It's like what, 100 feet wide or something?
100 meters.
100 meters. So that's what, times 2. Wait, how's it work again? 2. How does it work? 1 meter is 3 foot. So it's like 300 feet wide.
Yeah.
And it's like
9 hoog, 10 hoog.
Yeah, and it's like a Baroque.
30 feet high.
Yeah, bananas. And
yeah, it's a good one, man.
It's a fucking dope one.
I love that wall. But I used to pass by all the time, you know, and I saw this wall for years. And I remember one night when we're passing by with the homies, and they were looking at some girls like, oh, you see that booty? And I was like really faded and looking up at the wall. I was like, yeah, man, why the fuck are you looking at the wall? And I said, man, one day I'm going to paint that fucking wall. And it was like more than 10 years ago. And they're like, yeah, man, keep dreaming. And like, fuck you, man, I'm going to paint that fucking wall.
Yeah.
Today, like 2018, I painted that wall. And I got so much love, man, from the city, from all the people passing by. It was insane, man. Like everybody stopped me, started talking to me, taking pictures. You know, at some point, I was halfway the piece. I took a picture I was drinking a beer on the curb, watching my wall. I took a picture of my hand full of paint with the beer and posted it on some street art forums. You know, like. Oh, look at this poor artist having to pay for his own beer. You want to talk to me? Bring me a beer. You know, we're Belgians. You know, we come to your beer. Bring me a fucking beer. Yeah. Next day, I thought like, okay, I'm gonna get beer today. I brought an empty cooler, you know, full with ice and everything. I got 6 full 6-packs, man, from random fucking stranger. I got drunk as fuck again. I finished my letter on the lift, like not okay, too drunk, but it was straight lines, man. But okay. The next day I arrive at the wall, huge hangover, 9 in the morning. I'm up on the lift and I hear somewhere in the street like beer. I look down and there's like an 85-year-old man. He's waving 2 beers at me, ice cold. Nice. 9 in the morning. I'm like, like blowing, like fuck. This is so.
I gotta crack a beer with you, old man.
Okay, I go down from the lift. I sit on the curb with this old man and I drink a beer with him. And he starts to tell like, yeah, it's really great what you guys are doing. You know, it's his new hobby. He's a street art spotter now. You know, and he just telling me about all the spots in his routine. Like every Tuesday I go there, and every it's nuts, man. Yeah. It's super cool. You know, you have to feel this connection. You know,
that's what it's all
that
about.
People really show love for what you are doing.
Right.
This was
and that's
top
now
of my list, man.
that's now here. You know, the time of like being suspicious of what this person's doing, painting on a wall, right? Those days are long gone, right? Now people have found that most of us are very approachable, you know, blah blah blah. That the work is, you know, understandable, like and. In a way, like street art, you know, and I hate the distinction, but it is a distinction, like kind of helped out with that in a way, you know. It's like, because wild style graffiti and also it's still illegible. It's still like some people are always afraid of what they don't understand, you know.
True.
And but today, like people even. Like, I would like to see, like, some fucking crazy, massive, and I'm going to say it, projected wild styles, massive, you know, just fucking killing shit.
Why project? Just use a fucking grid. I'm against projections.
I know you are. I'm so for it. It's not even funny.
All the fucking way. Yeah. Man, I can do a huge fucking wall. I put a couple of dots on there, and
I saw that with the last 3 characters you
perfectly.
Painted. Those offset characters.
Yeah.
At first I saw it, I'm like, oh, why is he posting a graphic? Is this to promote the print? But I'm like, he wouldn't do that. And then I'm like sliding and, you know, onto the next frame, blah, blah, blah. And I saw the video. I'm like, oh, shit, he painted this shit? I was super impressed, man.
Oh, cheers, man.
That is a complicated, annoying, offset, like, piece. And if you guys are listening, go to Rise1 on Instagram. It's a couple of posts back now, but you'll see what I'm talking about. It looks like a fucking graphic, and the offset part, because it's not a small piece, you know, just to make sure that the arm going behind the guy and then offset and boom, it connects perfect. Annoying. You can do it, but it's like super annoying.
For sure, and
I'm just a big up for that piece, man.
It's not perfect, but I like that. You know, if you want perfect, make a graphic. You know,
that's true.
It still has to be a painting, and that's.
It's pretty damn perfect.
I can paint pretty clean, you know. Like my main, I think my best skill would be like direct, very straight lines.
Right.
Just don't hesitate. Go in and pull those fucking lines.
Yeah.
And they have to. If I make a mistake, I'm leaving it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care. This is painting. Yeah. It's a feeling. It's emotion. You know. It's you move with your whole body to make those lines, and that's. I think that's the beauty of it, you know. If I want something perfect, I'll use a computer, man. It's painting has to be a painting.
Yeah, but you're pretty close to being a fucking human computer there, old pal.
Oh shit, man.
You know what I'm saying? You're pretty fucking clean. I like to paint clean too, but you're pretty fucking clean, man. I respect that, you know. I like when I go up close and it's like, it's almost vector. My dick gets hard a little bit, you know? And there's a few guys like Flying Fortress. There's a couple of guys. I'm like, God damn, that's extra clean.
That thing is really, really typical for like European style writers. You know, like if you look at the greatest European style writers, none of them will cut back their lines.
Yeah.
Because their lines are their passion, are their feeling.
Right.
You know, that's how you can feel the action in a line,
right?
You know, and that's the beauty of it. And if you cut it back, you kind of like hides the feeling, man. Yeah. Don't hide the feeling, man. Just give it.
It's nice not to cut back.
Yeah,
you know, I like not cutting back either. Like there's been some things where I'm like, I'm not even thinking about the insurance of cutting back. Let's say a wall is latex or something, and I don't. It's like a light. I didn't even bring the light gray. You know. I'm going, and you know, there's one piece I did. I forget where it was. Art Center. It's like the first time I painted it. I repainted it in Venice. The hands coming through the wall. Yeah. I painted that for the first time in the gallery of Art Center, right? And the wall was. I mean, I don't know. You can't. I didn't have latex. Nothing. I didn't have the color of the background color. And it's a long fucking outline. You know, it's a big fucking long, slow fucking line. Right?
You can't pull it in one time, you know?
It's impossible. No, you got to adjust the lift, everything. But that's when I discovered that and maybe you know about this too, or you feel it the same way. Like certain long lines are a little bit like sculpting. You know what I mean? You just add a little bit more clay to the line, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But it's not about, in certain parts you can do, right? You got that. Times 2, there's the thickness of the line, right? But sometimes when it goes on a curve, it just, you just sculpt the line sometimes. Do you do that sometimes?
No, I don't sculpt, but
I'll show you which one.
When I have a difficult curve to go, I just make the motion without spraying it, and like, okay, I'm going this way, and then try to pull it in one time. And if you pull that in one time, people are gonna see it. Like
they're gonna see
that. Man, that's like
I'm with you on that.
Zeus, Slider, Matsy, all these Dare, fucking King Dare.
Of course.
He pulled direct fucking lines. Wert from Italy, like old school motherfucker. Really.
You feel it.
You can feel the motion, man. It's almost unexplained. You have to see it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's balls in a line. It's knowing your lines.
I had my homies from one of my crewmates is from Italy, from Naples. Gosh, he's a very talented rider, very good style rider. He's the teacher of Wild Boys crew. Mm-hmm. He's one of the biggest crews in Italy. He's incredible, powerful style riders. And he told me about the jam they had, Back to the Styles in Naples. They had legends there, man. They had Revoke, they had Rhyme, they had Cess. This year there was Sweat as well, and every year they have like classic, old school American riders. They invite one, and their thing is they paint a whole week, every day another wall, and it's focused on style writing, like real graffiti, and that's really cool. But he was talking about the year that Rhyme was there.
Oh, Rhyme is incredible.
Man, in our eyes, he's a legend, man. He's an incredible, powerful writer. It's insane,
Endless
like
in characters, everything. Yeah.
But he was cutting back on every line.
Oh yeah.
And all the guys he was telling, like, man, there were like all the Italians sitting in a row looking at him and then talking about, like, can you see this shit? He cuts back his fucking lines. We couldn't believe it,
Really?
When you see the videos.
Cut back is really American, by the way.
Yeah, but when you see the videos, he goes like fast and blah, blah. And he was really fucking slow and cutting back every fucking line. And they were like,
but Rhyme is unfuckwittable. But cutting back and out, he's unfuckwittable.
Yeah, for sure, man.
The guy's feeling on every level.
He's a legend. He's a legend. Man, I look up to this guy for more than a decade. Yeah. It's the way his letters flow are incredible.
And characters and composition, the paintings that he does.
When he told me he cuts back every line, I was shook. I was like, no. Yeah. Not this guy.
But there's nothing. I don't mind cutting back.
No, but to
sometimes
us,
you gotta cut back a little bit.
To European style riders, cutting back is like almost not done. It feels like you don't have the skill. That I don't want to say it, man. This guy is insanely skilled, but it feels like that almost, And I was super surprised when he told me. And the way he told me, he's like, man, I had to sit down and smoke a joint.
That's funny. But to be honest, like sometimes you do the blocks. I remember we did that piece together last year.
Yeah.
And you put the last little blocks, like let's say in the base leg of the R, some extra style blocks, like a half circle and like some blocks, whatever. Yeah. Remember what I told you then? Why don't you cut back real quick, make that sharp? And you're like, no, I want it to be left like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My inclination is also, if it's on a gradient, maybe if it's on the transfer of the gradient, I can see you got to leave it like that.
True,
but
man.
This part was in the block of, let's say, the green.
Yeah.
You can easily cut that back real quick.
True, man. But that's the thing, that's what we like, When
I feel
people see your piece, they see it on a distance, they're like, damn, that shit is fucking perfect. And they come in close and then they see the little mistakes, but they see like, it's a direct line.
That's the flavor.
He pulled that shit out of his hand, like
yeah.
And that's where a lot of our pride comes from. We take a ton of pride. Man, I take a ton of pride. I can draw a straight fucking line for meters.
Yeah.
Like 10-foot straight line, pulling it without a ruler.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
Of course, without a ruler.
And when you see it, you know, when you look up close, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
But you need to take distance to see a big piece like that.
I feel
and
that.
It looks good. So why try to make things perfect? You know, like the imperfections are, to me, like the most beautiful things of the painting.
It's true. It is the flavor. It is the flavor. Wacht, ik kan even plassen. We're gonna cut right here, Sean, if you listen to this. I gotta piss like a motherfucker. Moet jij niet plassen?
Nee.
Waar zijn Antwerpen aan?
This guy can't hold his fucking beer. Oh, the chest. Zetten. Zijn die vragen aan mijn kloten?
Aan mijn kloten.
Alsjeblieft.
No, I see what you're saying about those, leaving the evidence there. It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, because people will take a look up close and see like, damn it.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And that's pride, man. That's like it's showing also, skills, you know.
And then that lack of cutback, right? Like, because it's not as if you can't cut it. Of course you can cut it back. Like those blocks I'm talking about in that one piece.
Yeah.
But it's not like your outlines aren't exactly on point. Everything's fucking on point, right? And just leaving that little bit of sauce, that little bit of flavor, that little bit of, you know, without the necessity of cutting back, is just saying like, look, this is my hand. Let my hand be known.
Yeah, true. I had the same conversation today with Ispa. He was like, yeah, man, I brought this color to cut back. Man, I don't cut back. Yeah. It's the direct answer. They're like, I don't cut back. I don't do that shit.
Yeah.
I don't feel good about it, man. Don't give me cut back colors.
It's nice not to cut back, but I thought about it in a different way, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought about it in a different way. Actually, you talked about this like a year ago, and then right now I get what you're saying. Actually, I didn't get it before. There's certain lines you shouldn't cut back.
No disrespect to Ryan, by the way. I really fucking love his shit, you know.
Oh, he's a super king.
Yeah, incredible.
Super king. So no cutting back. No cutbacks in your government.
Oof. Hey, I'm not the government, man. The government is a whole different game.
No, but a cutback in English is like when taxes are being lifted or they're being added. You know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah.
When they cut back in cultural funds, motherfuckers, like they always do in Antwerp.
It's true. Huh? So yeah, man. So you're here for a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
You know, doing the do.
Yes, sir. 2 weeks
bam,
ago.
Bam, man. LA.
Yeah, man. And thanks for the hookup for that container yard wall.
Oh,
man.
no worries,
Shit, man. That's gonna be dope. Gonna start painting on Monday.
Yeah, they gave you a good spot, huh? You show me.
Big wall, man.
Yeah,
it's
nice,
incredible.
Nice.
It's really.
You're gonna rock the LA there.
Yeah,
it's gonna be sweet. It's nice.
Classic European style, golden letter LA.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fresh. Yeah, I really look forward to this, man. I really look forward.
They have ladders there, a lift.
They got a lift.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's all I need.
Perfect, man. What else, man?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was hoping we could paint a wall. Maybe, I don't know, do a wall with Janu or a couple other guys that are here.
Yeah, I may have a wall. Also, we'll talk about that after, you know?
Oh, cool. I'm down.
Yeah, I know what it's like. You get to see, you want to paint like fucking crazy.
Yeah, man. I'm not the sightseeing or chilling at the beach type of guy. I checked out Redondo Beach yesterday. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
But I'm not spending a day, man. I'm not.
I totally get it.
I'm here to paint, man.
Yeah.
And
I used to go on the road with Boué, Boué the Warrior, and I'd get to Europe after I was finally allowed to be back home. Get a rent-a-car, load it up with fucking cans, and boom, Boué, let's go. So we're just driving all the way to like fucking Milan, everywhere, you know, hitting everything along the way.
Cool.
And that is the fucking flavor, you know?
Yeah, that's the life, man.
That is the life. You see a wall, you connect with some folks, boom. You stay in shitty places. Doesn't fucking matter. I'm not here for the sightseeing. I'm here to fucking paint.
You got a couch? Cool.
Anything, yeah. And sometimes like $13 hostels. You know?
I got a rug. Fuck you, man.
Exactly. Rug doesn't even. So we slept in the car sometimes. Just like sleeping in the car. Woke up. Okay, fucking full of energy. We're gonna paint today. You know.
Yeah.
But that's the spirit, you know, and that's all part of, you know. You know, it's a lot easier for a lot more people that want to paint walls now, and that's fantastic. But if it's in you, then it's in you. You know, good times, bad times, it doesn't fucking matter. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, true. Like I know I can earn a ton of money with painting, but still, when I can just get a wall and paint, I'm happy I'm painting, man.
It's the best feeling ever.
It's what I want to do, you know. Like fuck, it's not. That's the thing, you know. Like a lot of these street arts guys are about fucking money, man.
I've noticed that too.
That's where's the love, you know? Like, you know, the best thing is like Sunday, nothing to do, call the crew, fill the trunk with paint, and just go and paint the wall, man. Yeah. It's so much fun, you know.
Yeah. And it's also a little bit annoying. I've you know, to go over the whole, you know, critique of what's happening these days. You know, when certain people. They won't paint anything unless if it's for money.
Yeah.
That is like, what?
That's bullshit, man.
That is like something...
These people are in it for the wrong reasons, you know?
And maybe they're in it for different reasons that we don't understand, but it's definitely not me, you know? Like, a good spot is very fucking inspiring.
Yeah, but...
And even a bad spot is sometimes inspiring.
If you look at it like, a good painter is a passionate painter, you know? He's a painter who paints for the love of painting.
Right.
You know, like if you look at the old masters, so many of them didn't make shit. Like, let's say Van Gogh, he was poor as fuck in all of his lifetime. Now he's a legend, you know. He's a classic old master, you know. Yeah. But he was poor as fuck, but he loved it.
How do you think about that? Like, you know, let's say, you know, you're painting all over the place, blah blah blah. Do you think about like what happens to all this work after I'm gone? Is it important to have a seat? Or to have a mention in this recent history, or is it like, well, you know what? When I'm dead, I'm dead. I don't give a fuck. Or do you think about that? Like, you still need to get to a place where it's like, I'm gonna do something that's never been done somehow.
I think about that for sure, man. I want to be, in a way, remembered as a good writer, you know, as a good painter. Like, but I don't know. It's kind of hard for me, you know, because my father is a famous Belgian painter.
Man, your dad is dope.
He's in the books. He's down in the history books, you know. He changed the way people looked at painting in the 70s, you know, and he influenced like thousands. It's incredible.
Tell people that are listening right now, look him up right now. What's his Instagram?
His name is Narcisse Tordoir. Narcisse Tordoir. I know it's a hard name. It's a French name.
Just rewind it and do it again.
My family name, you know. But anyway,
he's fresh as fuck. He's so right now, actually.
The way he looks at painting, because I've been his assistant for that since I was a teenager. You know, he taught me so much. You know, I can stretch a canvas. You know, like size of this fucking wall, I can stretch it like a drum, you know. It's gonna be perfect museum quality. Things I learned from him is insane, like techniques. Last years he was doing pastel works, giant pastel works, photorealistic. Yeah, man, I learned so much, like how to use colors, it's incredible, you know. He's without a doubt my biggest influence. Without a doubt, I learned so much from him. And now the most important thing he told me was like, a painting isn't necessarily like oil paint on a canvas. You know, a painting can be a medium on a surface. You know, broaden your horizon. Look at things. You know, like spray paint on the wall. It's a medium on a surface.
Right.
fucking
clay on cement. Anything.
Yeah, you can do whatever, like think, look for new things, expand your mind, discover yourself. That's one of the most important things he taught me. Like you can be something you never imagined you could be.
Yeah.
That's part of who I am and why I think different than a lot of people in my city. I look at things in a bigger way, in a way. I imagine things, I work hard towards it, and when I accomplish, I set a new goal.
Right.
It's always good to
new
move
horizons all the time.
And the things he does, he finds a style, he works it out, he perfects it, and then when it's the bad businessman in him. When it's really hot, he's like,
he's over it.
And he starts something completely different, because like galleries and people who sell the shit, they like to say like, oh, this is this guy because he paints oil on canvas and he always makes female portraits or whatever, like something they can.
You bring up something very interesting right now because this recognition factor, this recognizable line or style or icon or this or that, right? We all know, that it does work, but on the total spectrum of what it means to be an artist with a capital A, right? It should just be a season.
Yeah. But it's crazy, like in a way, it's a perspective, like people think the biggest artists are the ones that are most recognizable and for their own style. But at some point, you're repeating yourself. And you get stuck in your ways, and there is it's hard to get out of this. It's hard to make something fresh and new out of this. Because it becomes so repetitive at some point that
unless if the artist, and you're talking to me, pal, look what I'm painting all the fucking time.
I know, man. I don't say it to diss you, man. No. Look at the greatest artists. Like I said, Philippe Panton. I fucking love what he's doing. But it's fucking repetitive.
Of course. But I've been thinking about that a lot lately, right? Because there's things... Salud. Yeah, chin. No, because now we're getting deep to some shit. Because here's the thing. And I like the quick silence for a second. That's nice. Not that I have to fill up the air.
You can hear the crickets.
There's a cricket in here. Jiminy.
Fucking Jiminy.
Because there's a lot of us, and there's happy colors, right? There's kind of like a graphic look. It's all cool. It's all this. It's a little bit, right? But then, what about our deepest emotional life, right? When I think of great works of art, I think of emotions revealed. I think about a painting or a body of work that is like, man, this guy went through it and he somehow conveys the emotions, whether it's literal or, through symbolism or through just plain minimalistic use of color, moods and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And I know we're using some of that, but sometimes I wonder how much of my deeper self am I not painting from, because in my particular case, and in your case too, I think it's all like upbeat, it's happy, it's energy, it's boom, we're here with that hip-hop flavor, with that, right color choice, cool graphics, whatever. But does anyone really truly know you through your work, or is it still a mask? Do you know what I'm saying? And is it the mask that we want people to perceive us as when they look at our stuff? It's easy to get on board with your shit. It's easy to get on board with my stuff. True. No proof is in the pudding. But should the true artist really delve into the psyche of him or herself and like unearth like those painful moments, those emotional, whatever it was, periods, roller coasters, doubt, depression, you name it. We've all been through it, right? even though that may not be where we're living from today, but should that be felt? Should the work really represent not the mask of everything is fine and great, and look how poppy I am, and you know how much happiness I'm putting out there, or is it like, man, this is my fucking soul, right? I've been thinking about that.
It's hard to do.
What do you think? But
like,
especially with a father that you have, you know, proper artist. Like, how do you feel about that?
it's hard to do, you know, like the thing you make don't always necessarily present like the feelings you were having, you know, like
that's what I'm saying.
I was making canvas works for this Ilkus show, but in my mind, you know, like a week ago, my neighbor he died in Italy. He got ran over in a hit and run. He was on a bicycle tour. He was the best fucking guy. He was in the army. He was super friendly, super, you know, like super smart guy. You know, he spoke over 10 languages. He was always educating himself. He did tours in the city. He had a passion for the city, and whenever I saw him, he was a happy guy. I got good vibes off him, always. And his son is my best friend, like one of my oldest friends. And while painting flashy, colorful things, in my mind, I was thinking about him, you know. It's
right.
Like, it's because right now, they gave him the last greet today.
Yeah.
Man, I missed it. I want to be there for my friend to support,
right?
You know. But no, I don't put this feeling into my work because it's sad as fuck, you know.
And is it possible to put it, because we're dealing with still frames, right? Yeah. If we were able to you know, to write and direct a film or write a book, or you know what I mean, all of a sudden you have the opportunity to hold one's attention for more than one moment, right? In a way where we're painting from a graphic to a wall, it's one still frame. You know, depending on what kind of film you shoot, 29 frames a second. Here's a still. You see what I mean? So now I'm thinking of like Axel Void for some reason. You know, there's a lot. I don't know. You know, I like him a lot, but I'm not saying that's the answer. But what I'm saying is like, how do we reconcile that for ourselves, knowing that we have deep feeling, knowing that we could, right? And then are we optimists? Or is this too deep of a fucking rabbit hole that we're going down?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying here, though, right?
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying with the emotion in art.
Yeah,
is anyone ever gonna cry while looking at a painting like, God damn,
no.
Thank you,
man?
You know what I'm saying? Or is that even our task anymore?
I want to make a painting of it. I have ideas about it, but this is not for the world to see. This is for my best friend. You know, it's for my homie. It's for the family. Right. They're the only ones who get to see it. And it's not for the internet. You know,
right?
Because I don't know. I don't share like I'm feeling this today or whatever on the internet. You know, I don't share a lot of personal stuff or pictures of myself, my wife. You know, maybe I put up a picture of my dog just because it's a funny dog. But you know, some things are private. You know, like in especially in this day and age. You know, you have social media, you know, like your phone is listening in on everything you're fucking saying, whatever, man. Yeah. It's privacy has become a rare thing, you know, and I like to keep things like that more private, you know. If I make a work, that's gonna be.
But you know what I'm saying with the question. Like I know it's a difficult question.
Yeah.
Because when I think about Caravaggio and all this stuff,
it's all passion, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Man.
And of course,
that's why they were masters,
right?
Great fucking masters.
And then when the film comes to mind, and great acting performances, and great directors, and great epic, you know, propositions through cinema, and also prose and literature and music, man. You know. And then, we're still, of course, but we're also deeply feeling people, right? With all kinds of losses and experiences. And I was just thinking about that recently. Like, it's all happy, it's all this and that, but like, what's deeper than that, and still me? Yeah, true. You know what I'm saying? And it does that have a place in in our domain, because we paint in the street.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't want to do some fucking overdose junkie theme or whatever, or I don't know what it is, some deeply melancholic wall. That's not the part of you want to share with the world, right? Yeah. But as a person that creates stuff, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Yeah. Is it possible within the medium? Or is it sort of like, everyone just kind of doesn't want to see that shit, and you should just write or something?
No,
you know what I'm saying?
It's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. You can put those feelings in an artwork, but then again, is it something you want to share with everybody? I don't know. I like to share it more with the people I know.
Right.
with loved ones, with the family of my neighbor who I grew up with,
Right.
is.
But is there, like when we talk about art with a capital A, right? There's certain ingredients
true.
there, because everything else.
There's not so much like, the feeling goes more in the way I paint than the subject I paint, because the thing I like to paint things with like. Like certain attitude, like this is what I like about graffiti game, like everybody's trying to be the best.
Right.
Everybody's trying to bring their A game.
It's hip hop, it's MCing, it's I'm battling everybody.
It's a battle, and I really enjoy this, like even at the meeting of styles, like a couple of years ago, there was this guy from Malaysia, little Asian guy. He was more than a head smaller than me, like really small guy, and he's such a fucking style writing king. His name is Asmu Rock. Look it up on Instagram, man. This is incredible style. This guy is an architect, and he builds his letters like he would make a building. It's flawless. It's flawless. But every time, he's a younger guy. He comes to the meeting. He's super humble, like Asians are, like bowing and their hands and everything, and like, whoa, like, okay. He comes to the jam and he's like, thank you very much for giving this opportunity to be here. And so, for sure, man, I'm happy you're here. I'm so happy I can show your style to my country, to my city. And eventually say like, I will destroy you on the wall, right?
He said that?
No, I said it to him. I said it to him. I say it to a lot of writers, to like top writers, like kings. I said,
just to get them heated.
Just to get them heated, like, I will destroy you on the wall, right? And they're like, yeah, let's see about that. This little Asian guy, man,
killed
he
your
destroyed everybody.
Nagasaki on your fucking ass.
He destroyed everybody, and he was so fucking humble about it. And I was like, yeah, man. Good game. Man.
And he stole your wallet and you never saw him again.
Yeah, fucking lost my wallet. It wasn't El Segundo, man. Fuck. No.
Yeah.
No, that was
cool. I get that part of it.
That's cool.
But I'm talking about, like when we think, let's say, because what everything that's with 2020 now, right? 30 years ago, it was 1990. Right, 1990 is like, okay, a lot of great stuff happened. I mean, a lot of great stuff already happened 30 years before then, Yeah. And the flavor was there and all that sort of stuff. And it's pioneering days. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's the same way I think about technology, right? 20 years ago we didn't have the internet, or we just had AOL or some shit, like we talked about porn. Yeah. You can look at a picture. Okay, get the Vaseline, whatever. The picture's still loading. God damn it, I'm not to the titties yet. I guess I'm not. A video, impossible. Right? Today, totally different world.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So, but what's going to happen in 20 years from now? Not only with technology, we can't even think about that. No. AI, cyborg people, retina lenses, that, just you can pull out anything as a reference in front of your eyes and share memories. Who knows? Black mirror type of shit. But when I think about, like right now, everyone pretty much within 3-4 years, which is unbelievable, can paint pretty decently.
Yeah.
When I got started, it's like, I don't think so. It's gonna take a lot longer.
Yeah,
than that.
man, because the the paint to start with the paint was shit.
I was bullshit.
We were painting with car lac, like
multip
and duplicolor and the shit we had in there. Man,
Spadwa was even good at the time.
But
what I'm saying is, I'm not talking like we got all the tools now, right? We got all the
and the influence from the internet,
unbelievable. Like we see more in one day now than I saw during my whole teens from flicks and magazines.
Yeah, that's
or
insane,
like spray can art, a couple of books here and there that you couldn't afford.
Yeah.
So you go back to Mechanic Strip, the local spot
in
town, to look at the book, and wow, you can't believe what you saw. But now, on any given, I take a shit. I see the best work in the world, right? But that's times every day.
Yeah.
And we're getting older, but kids are now 17. They're hungry as fuck. Yeah. Whatever we think we're doing, they already know, oh, it's possible. So they're going to do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or within the next couple of years.
Yeah.
But then flash forward 20 years, is like, are we going to be in like some computer rock fucking shit, or are we gonna go, you know what I mean? Like, it can't, something's got to give somewhere is what I'm interested in thinking about. And which way is it gonna go? And that's why I think this Axel Voigt character is an interesting fucker, because some balls, man, to paint what he paints, you know what I'm talking about? That's like, what? That's Baroque vibes on the wall, and you're just doing that, huh? That's what you want to do? Some balls on this guy. Is everyone following it? No. Is he doing okay? Yeah, he's doing fine. So I wonder if kind of like the movement that we're in, right? And obviously it's always going to be technical. Things are going to get complicated more in the wild cells, more techniques, unbelievable feats, just like in skateboarding today. Yeah. When I got started to now, it's like Tony Hawk. Right, man. The video game is what's happening now, and they're skating like that in real life.
It's insane, man.
I can't believe it. Every day, my mind is blown what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
I skated for 14 years, every fucking day. That's why I moved to this country. What I'm seeing on Instagram today, I would have put my life down. I swear on everything, this was impossible.
For sure,
they're doing it, all of them,
super technical,
by the hundreds.
Super technical.
So I'm wondering, what's the next step, right? Because in a way, painting large on a wall, in a way, it's a little bit easy. You know what I mean? You're not using a hairline brush with oil and pigment.
No, you can make it rough and it looks good from a distance.
Exactly. So I'm wondering, once the technique is fulfilled, right? Once technique is mastered, and there's so many people that are, perfecting technique. At what point does that like hit a ceiling? And then what else could be introduced, And there must be some sort of emotional storytelling somehow, through lines, through feeling, through colors. Some shit we haven't figured out yet is what I'm sensing a little bit. Yeah. Some narrative, some storytelling, some Rothko-esque, I'm not saying minimalism just like Rothko did it, but like there's got to be some undiscovered thing that when we look at a wall, it's like, what? And I'm not talking Felipe Pantone.
No.
Or Pantone. Or
whatever, man.
You know what I mean? But like something as crazy as Cubism when it hit the Impressionists. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And something as crazy as the Impressionists when the Surrealists, there's got to be something, because everyone's sort of like, the categories are there now. So 20 years ahead, right? What could be there? And I think it's got to be in the way of like emotion. Yeah. I can't otherwise imagine what it could be.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. I think like everybody goes through an evolution at some point, and like you used to paint characters. You used to do like almost realistic characters, right?
I've done a few of those, yeah.
In the long ago,
yeah, you try everything,
No, long ago.
Yeah.
But in a way, you simplify things, and that's where a lot of people think like, oh, it's simple. It's even harder to get something simple to be good than to hide with a lot of shadows and tricks and techniques.
Right.
Like it's it takes skill, it takes a lot of thought, because there are only a couple of lines on the canvas, but these lines gotta be on point,
Right.
And it's I think this, I see this a lot, people go like wow, 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 and they add on, and then they just fall back to just a couple of lines.
Right.
And this is, I think, I always like lines.
Yeah. I like lines too. And I know a few examples of like, when things get reduced, and in a way that's what abstract expressionism, like I have a few friends that paint like abstract expressionistic, right? And I know them personally and I love them, and it's really them. It's really who they are. But if it's anyone else, I'm like, how dare you? You don't deserve to paint, you gotta go the way of Picasso.
Yeah.
Hyper realistic,
Man.
super moody. Then you deconstruct everything, and then you can draw like a fucking child. But it's gonna take you 50 years. Don't start off being 25 or 30. Oh, I'm gonna be a painter, and then start painting like Basquiat.
Yeah.
To me,
I fucking hate that shit.
Like I want to slap the fuck out of some people like that. But
I understand you.
if I know you personally, like I know a few friends, it's really who they are.
Yeah.
But other people that I see popping up, I just see, even within that style, it's not who you are, man.
Yeah.
You're just trying to, do some
Trying
bullshit.
to be like the other guy. Why are you trying to be like the other guy?
That's what I'm saying.
Be you.
Who is you? Actually.
And that's the hardest thing, man, to discover yourself.
Very difficult.
That's like a struggle in your mind. You can sit in the couch watching television, but you're not watching the show. You're thinking about, my wife is watching the show. She's watching, I don't know, Kardashians or what the fuck she's doing. And hope she's not listening to this shit.
Yeah. Oh, she will.
Yeah,
no dinner for you, pal.
Yeah, okay, yeah, cold potatoes every day. No, but my mind is going different places a lot of times, and then you think about, how am I going to make the next move? What am I gonna add on or change, or I'm gonna repeat myself what I'm doing, or I don't know. You always think. I think a lot about what am I gonna create next?
And why?
And why? I don't know.
Why?
I have this urge to do these things. I in some way I feel like it's part of who I am, and comes through the family, because I was raised on this. My mom is an art school teacher. My father is an artist, and I grew up seeing all these things.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, sometimes I get it too, like, man, I'm really excited about this new wall and I'm going to paint this. And then I'll wake up in the night, I take a leak, and I'm like, I go and take a look at, what I want to do. And I'm like, but why this now? You know what I mean? Why does it have to be this?
Because the wall speaks to you.
And the wall
calling your name.
and sometimes also, to be honest, it's just nice to get up. You know what I mean? It's just nice to get up. And color and line and all that stuff is like, man, I got up in a good spot. I'm going to rock my style, and that's fucking that.
Yeah.
But, for me, it's super difficult to paint some meaningful shit, man. I've only maybe done it 8 times in my life. And when I do, like, I'm so proud of it, and hardly anyone notices. You know what I mean? But I know why I did it. And then it's like, huh. Like, and then I look at others. You know this guy, Estif?
No.
You don't know Estif?
No.
Esquif. Yeah, from Valencia.
I don't know this guy.
Street Against. To me, is the absolute master. I think Oscar Meos is number 1, and then Estif is number 2.
Okay.
This guy, every time he paints, you would love him. I'll show you after. You don't know Esquif?
Is your favorite writer of today?
Oh, he's the best.
Okay.
Everything he paints is fucking unbelievable in the street. Thousands of works.
Okay.
Symbolism, meaning, all that sort of stuff. Just incredibly fucking intelligent. His website, I think, is streetagainst.org or something. But yeah, it's just one of it's like he's a friend of Blues, I think. Remember Blue?
I have no
Blue from Italy.
idea, man, no.
You don't know Blue from Italy?
No.
He did that animation.
Man, you're old. I'm fucking
That's
young, you know.
No, Blue, man. Blue, he did 3 animations where he paints, wipes it out, paints, wipes it out, paints, and he goes all across the city. He goes inside of sewage systems. Muto from Blue. You don't know this shit?
Nope.
What?
Nope.
Okay, I gotta show you right now. I'm telling you. You know this stuff. And then we'll just take... Everyone can wait. Look, you know this shit, man.
I'm
this
just
was
watching the cricket walk over the floor, man. I
that.
spotted the cricket.
Look at this. So this is the second time he did it. Okay, it's 11 years ago. But look at this guy. This guy from Italy.
Okay.
Watch this. This guy is fucking unbelievable. Here we go. So blah, blah, blah. So he is making an animation by painting in the street. All right. Here we go. And if you're watching this... listen, guys. Put Blue BLU Muto MUTO on YouTube. Look what this maniac is doing.
Oh, like a frame by frame thing.
Frame by frame. It's like 10,000 paintings, and he's just fucking rocking that shit. Watch out. Remember seeing
that? Yeah, I remember this guy.
Italian
just
fucker.
Remember his
Look
name.
at this guy.
Yeah, he's nuts.
So he planned this. It's freestyle kind of, but he knew what he was gonna do, and he just fucking did it. This takes for fucking ever.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. He just fucked the whole wall.
But I think this is the first one or the second one, and then he goes across buildings into riverbeds, and there's a huge like intent behind it. Like he's not just drawing little pretty pictures, right? He's talking about
this is all about the video, man.
But it's about life and mutation, and its effect on environment, and eventually the total environment, which is the earth, like all kinds of crazy stuff. Look at this maniac. Oh my god, man.
Okay,
Check the guest.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Check the guest.
Yeah, I remember seeing this. Just didn't remember the name.
Right. So it goes on and on and on, and then things get complicated. Look. One guest. So now we have fractal reality. Hey, there's a new life. And he's just like, just as if the world is his. He's drawing this shit.
It's crazy, man.
So it goes on, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Maar dit flit alles op. Look at this. What? Are you kidding me, man? And I think it's like a 12-minute thing, so we won't watch the whole thing now.
Yeah.
Look, what a pate, man.
Shit. Yeah, I remember seeing this. This is crazy, man. This is some next level shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Like already back in the days, you know?
This is 2008.
Yeah.
I guess I am old.
Fucking 10 years ago. No, I remember seeing this.
So, like, he figured out a way to make us feel. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying we're not feeling, and I'm not saying it's all about feeling, but like big up to this. Look, there's already someone standing there. And he surrenders his ego. Wap! Okay. Ola, al helemaal toe is een beetje normaal. Waar zijn we mee bezig? This is something.
Oh shit.
Watch it with us if you're listening. This is something. Al helemaal, ziet eraf.
This guy has a crazy mind.
No, he's killing it so fucking hard. And the rumor was like he just fucking did it.
And he just buffed the whole block white.
Yeah, just buff. And now he's going down to some sewage. Look, it's fucking creepy, man. Look at this guy. All I'm off. You see that? Bananas. We're not. I want to watch the whole thing, but let's not. It's very boring for people. But see that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it keeps going up, 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 up. So yeah, there's.
Okay. I understand why you like this guy.
Yeah,
I like it, but it's far away from graffiti, no?
I don't like. I don't even like this.
It becomes art at itself, you know.
Right.
And this is more for me. This is more. This is not even street art. Fuck street art. This is art, you know.
Right.
This is yeah. This guy has a very clever mind.
Yeah. So yeah, it's yeah. I just think about some things like that, and you know, like what's to come. You know, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years.
What's the next step?
Yeah.
We'll see, man. We'll see. And we'll be fucking outdated. Unless we go with the flow, you know. Or maybe one of us will make the next step. You know, never know.
Who knows, man?
How much do you want to evolve in your work, you know?
It all depends, yeah, because it's like, it's also what gives the person pleasure, right? Like, I would love to paint like 2-tone canvases and scratch them all up, like they're like some back alley wall. Like I'm really like, I would love to do that,
yeah,
and just leave it at that, but really work on it for like a week, and then you know, put a couple of colors down, scratch it up, add a little cement, sand it away, scratch it off again. Maybe like do some typography, sand it all away so you can barely see like, you know, the beginning of like some word or something. But it's all like hidden. More cement, sand it down, scratch it up with a steel brush, you know, rub it over the cement, and bam, here's the canvas. Yeah. It's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
I would love to do that. And then I should do it.
If let me ask you a question.
It's my real nose.
If you go to like older generation of painters, like art painters. I'm not saying street art or graffiti is not art, but let's go back. Who's your favorite?
Oof.
Who's the one that says like, this guy has had an impact on me in a way that really affects the way I work?
Yeah. Right away is Magritte. But that seems like you know, a normal selection when you're from Belgium.
Yeah.
And I really like feel him somehow. Like,
yeah, he's my favorite Belgian painter as well.
It's incredible.
René Magritte. He's fucking
what a
insane
guy. Like
painting day and night in one painting.
I mean,
nobody ever thought about this.
The whole surrealistic movement, to me, it's like, and Magritte was a nice, you know, non-mushroom taking motherfucker. And he went to the studio in the morning, came home to his wife at night.
Sober as fuck.
Sober as fuck. But his mind was psychedelic.
Yeah, he was. He was a crazy guy.
Like, I really like.
But like, let's say a non-Belgian artist.
A non-Belgian artist. Hieronymus Bosch.
He's Belgium, no?
He's Dutch.
He's Dutch?
He's Dutch,
oh,
yeah.
Holland.
Bosch.
Motherfuckers.
Because Cleon Peterson, I feel, is the modern day Hieronymus Bosch, in a way. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why, but it's like the same a little bit. Man. Yeah. I feel like they're on the same realm, except when Bosch did his stuff, like this stuff had no reference. The guy was just sort of doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and there was rape and pillaging and murder, and like there's like a million things happening in one, you know, huge painting.
It's insane. You can watch an hour at one painting. Like,
but no one really like would think
things.
that way. Why was he painting this shit? I don't even really understand. When was that? The 1600s, 1700s? Why was who gave this guy, like, you know what I mean? He was just painting like this. So that guy really like blows my mind. And yeah, of course, not to be a cliche, but the light of Caravaggio is something else. But I also have a really deep connection to Picasso for some reason. Yes, so those are my two, like Bosch and Magritte, and also a little bit of Picasso. But who's yours?
My all-time, old-school favorite artist has to be Rauschenberg.
No shit.
Rauschenberg is he's a madman, man. He's the way his work evolved through his lifetime is incredible. He started with painting, you know, like collages, drawings, then he mixes it up with sculptures, like everyday like things, you know, like a fucking ladder or a chair, or even he has a work up in the MoMA with an American eagle.
Yeah,
American eagle in it. It's illegal now to set up an
actual eagle,
an actual fucking eagle
worked into the work.
Yeah, but back then it was okay. But now, I saw it, I was like, I was blown away.
Yeah.
You know, he. This is what I like about an artist. He starts somewhere. You can see the whole body of work he made, and if you see a book that puts all the work together of a lifetime. This guy made a giant evolution in work.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Because now he's just smearing, right, with paint and these big, like, squeegees and stuff. Robert Rauschenberg. He's very minimalistic now, right?
He's dead.
Or he was doing that.
Since 2008.
Yeah. Well, the motherfucker owes me money. Who I gotta talk to? $1,200, man, this motherfucker. No wonder he hasn't called me back.
I don't know, man, who you gotta talk to. Probably some guy in LA or some shit, you know?
Yeah. No, but yeah, I know his work. He's fucking... I can see why you would love him that much, yeah.
Yeah.
He's dope.
Yeah.
So, bam.
Yeah. I like the way he used everyday objects and just made art of it.
Yeah.
That's an incredible thing.
There's something to be said for that. For sure.
So
yeah. So that's your number one.
Yes, that's my number one. When I've seen him in multiple art shows throughout Europe and also in the States, and wow, you know, like every time I see his work, it captures me, you know, like I watch it for a long time, you know. I can see all the old masters, and this guy painted Jesus, and this guy painted Maria, and blah 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 blah. But this guy is doing something fresh, you know. This guy is
all in.
He's an anarchist, you know. He's going against the system, you know. He got balls, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I like.
I dig that, man. Well, I think you got balls too, my friend.
Yeah, giants.
And I'm so happy you were able to make it. And bam, I'm a big fan. We're all a big fan of you here.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
So,
man.
Where can people find you online?
They can find me on my website, aerosolkings.com, or just on Instagram, like Rise1AK, and that's it.
Rise1_AK.
Yeah.
Bam. Thanks for coming out, my man.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Much
Thanks for
blessings
having
to you.
me.
No doubt. See you, my man. Peace.
You.
Whoop, there it is, or there it was. That was Rise One representing lovely. And hope you enjoyed that. As always, you can find us on Instagram at Happy No Fear. And I'm, of course, at The Art of Chase. If you like the podcast, please share it with a friend or a couple of friends. That always helps. Leave a comment and tell somebody about it, man. That's the way it's got to be in order for this thing to grow. As always, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.